Sweet. Welcome everyone to Celestia Core Devs Call 34. My name's Josh. I'll be hosting. And first up, we'll go to working group updates. I do not know of any, so if you have one, please jump in. So calling out from the DA working group, interface working group, or ZK working group. If anyone has updates, please raise a hand or just speak up. Okay. I'm gonna take the silence as a no. I guess if you do have an update during the call, please drop it in the chat and we'll get to it. And first for CIP updates, um, I think most importantly is probably V4 upgrade. The Lotus upgrade, aka V4, was activated at height 6.9 million something on Mocha at on the 1st of July last week. And the V4 release for Celestia app is expected at the end of this week. And the goal is to signal around a few days from then and activate on towards the end of July. I guess I'll leave the floor open in case anyone has a more specific update for V4, but I think that's generally where things are at. Cool. Um, so for CIP updates other than V4, we have CIP 35, which has moved to review. This is header pruning for light nodes. So if that's relevant to you, please review it. And the forum post is always a good place for discussion. Kind of quiet today, so I guess if you do have something, please just feel free to raise your hand or interrupt me. Next, CIP 36 is also moved to review, and this is lowering the trusting period to 7 days. In the meantime, we'll also need to wait on 36 to move to review before moving it 34 to last call, because 34 requires CIP 36. And CIP 34 is to set the pruning window to 7 days plus 1 hour. That's all we have for. Yeah, what's up?
About CIP 36. Wait, is CIP 36 not part of this?
Yep, it is.
Cool. Oh yeah, so yeah, with CIP 36, are we convinced that so there's a discussion about if it's safer for the Celestia trusting period to be smaller than IBC clients 14-day trusting period. And I think like Nash had an argument about that, but are we comfortable with that being true? I think it's a question for Kylan mostly.
Yeah. So I guess the question's. Oh.
Yes, I think from my view, it's fine. I don't know if Nash is here, there is any arguments he would like to add. Like they're
Yeah, I
just
don't know.
different trusting properties. Like you can just say that the security models are different between the light node that is running and sampling and then the light client that is embedded in IBC.
Yeah, I wonder if Zaki has any views on this as well.
I don't think that there's any particular downside to lowering the trusting period. Existing IBC connections won't get updated to like the uh, new period, but it like doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Nice. I guess that's good. I guess does anyone else have thoughts there or questions on CAP 36?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand the rationale, but for why it's okay. But Nash is Nash is
Sorry,
on the
just one
call.
question is the unstaking period changing at all? Or is it's just like client Sam?
Can you repeat your question, Mus? I joined.
My question is, first of all, like, okay, second is a different question, but my original question, because you just joined, was my question was, can you summarize the rationale for why it's okay for Celestia's trusting period to be smaller than IBC's trusting period? Is it basically because IBC does not have any hard forking if the validator set yours rogue?
Yeah,
So
they have an honest majority assumption.
you
Okay.
can submit evidence. So hypothetically, what could happen is if a validate if validators uh like signed a block outside of the Celestia trusting window. So there's like two things. There's like the Celestia trusting window for weak subjectivity for the light client nodes. There's the IBC light client subjectivity, and then there's the unstaking period. If both of those periods are short, if these periods are not aligned, it basically means that you can submit evidence in one system that like the other systems will reject, is the consequence. Um, but like for periods that are like weeks or days, there doesn't seem to be like any plausible way of exploiting these things to make to like double spend in some system. Like if this was like if we were like let's reduce the week's objectivity window to like 12 hours, that seems like you'd be taking a lot more risk.
Does that help or answer the question, Moose?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine then.
To answer Zaki's other question, there is another CIP which proposes to reduce the unbonding period to 14 days and 1 hour, so 1 hour above the like current default of the IBC clients.
Yep.
Do we have that in the CIP yet? Or am I just fumbling where it is?
Try 37.
Ah, okay, yes. Cool. And that's still in review. Uh, the forum place, always good for discussion. I guess for 36, do we have any more questions about that for the call right now? Take that as a no. And um I didn't add it to the agenda up top, but Manav was wondering if we can discuss 325. This has not been reviewed by editors yet. Sorry,
Uh,
I skipped
it, it,
something.
I think
Oh,
there were some comments on that,
oh, you're good.
which I resolved. Yeah.
Sweet. I guess, sorry, Manav, to cut you off there. Last week we discussed adding Callum as an editor, and Callum has been added to as an editor on the repository. So now he'll also be reviewing and helping edit these CIPs. So on that note, Manav, I want to give you the floor to talk about this proposed CIP. Even though it's not in there yet, I think this is still a good place to talk about it as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, for this CIP, I just want to propose like removing the token filter that currently exists in the state machine. It currently exists in IBC. There's like a middleware in IBC that we have in the state machine right now. So it only allows non-native tokens. So anything other than TIA is not allowed to, it's not really acceptable for the state machine to IBC in any non-TIA assets currently. And then with Hyperlane, with the V4 upgrade, we kept the similar functionality. So in Hyperlane, the similar thing to a token filter is like there is something called a synthetic token, which we disabled the functionality of in Hyperlane for V4. So you cannot mint a non-native or asset in the Celestia state machine. So you cannot mint a synthetic token, basically. So this CIP is to propose removing all that functionality. So we allow non-native assets as well, so that it's the motivation is to make Celestia a more effective routing hub for rollups. So rollups can get any asset from anywhere, which is sort of like the whole North Star of lazy bridging, to get any asset from anywhere securely under like a second. And this is like a step forward towards like that goal. Yeah. Yes. And anyone have any questions / things to add? And there's a forum post, and I know that Moose had a comment there asking whether Hyperlane and IBC would be compatible with each other, or like you can you like IBC in a token and the Hyperlane it out to another chain. I did ask the Hyperlane team, and they said you can definitely Hyperlane in a token and IBC it out. I think the other way, which is Hyperlane in a token and IBC it, or IBC in a token and Hyperlane it out, is sort of I asked that as a follow-up, still waiting to get back to it, but I don't think that should necessarily block the CIP. It can also be done as a follow-up if there are more components we need for that to happen. Yeah. Stop there for a bit.
Is there like any consideration, or if we do both IBC or only Hyperlane or only IBC, or like is both for completeness reasons, or have you thought about that?
I think it's more like for completeness reasons to just have Hyperlane IBC, so we don't have to necessarily. I don't see a particular reason why we would like to preserve it for one or the other. So it's more like so we can, since the goal is to make it a more effective routing hub. I think so that's why I propose to just have it for both interrupt protocols. That can have connections to Celestia. So I think having it both makes it just like closer to the more effective routing hub goal that is for the CIP. If that answers your question.
Yeah, I was just wondering if making that distinction has any benefit or not, but I'll ponder about it.
Is there any, I guess, side effects of this that make the Celestia state machine significantly slower or like more bogged down?
So
Or
I've
does it
discussed
not
that.
touch
I
it?
mentioned
Yeah.
it in like a security consideration section of the CIP, but it basically you can I think the only downside that I currently see is that it has a potential to make it add more if someone wanted to spam the state machine and create unwanted, unnecessary like spam tokens to go through it, that can result in like more resource consumption for the network, which can be unnecessary. But then that's kind of can be true for TIA as well. But I think this just expands the scope of it a little bit.
Thank you for pointing that out, Moose.
So sorry, yeah. So I had a question about Ranad's comment in the forum. He said you can use hyperlane, like IBC and hyperlane table. You can move IBC tokens over hyperlane if you create a collateral token on Celestia. What does that mean to just collateral token on Celestia? Like how's that? What's the process for that?
Could you please repeat the last part? I don't think I got that. Sorry.
How do you create a collateral token on Celestia?
Oh, how do you clear a collateral token? It's like basically when you make a hyperlane connection to another chain, you would just mention basically like it's like the collateral token is just like the locking part of the mint and lock bridge. So you are locking some collateral in Celestia, so you can mint a synthetic token on the other side. So in this case, there's a IBC token that exists on Celestia State Machine, which is IBC denom. And then you would, if assuming that is in the bank module of the SDK, you could use that as a collateral token. When you create the route, you can specify what the source token that you're like transferring is. So it's like works like any other token. So when you transfer TIA currently as well, it'll be TIA as a collateral token. And in this case, it's just the IBC denom token. If there's any elaboration needed, happy to go over that. But hope that answers your question.
Okay, so it's like we already support that then. Like we don't have, like the Celestia chain already supports that.
Yes, that's already supports it. We would just add this functionality to also allow creation of synthetic tokens. So someone else could add a collateral on another chain, and that can be minted on Celestia. That functionality currently doesn't exist, and that should be a very small change to the state machine, just adding another field to one of the structs in the Hyperlane module. Yeah.
I think one thing that you could look into is if or how IBC and hyperlink bridging is priced in gas. And I think currently, just in general, in the IBC ecosystem, most of the IBC transactions are probably like mostly free or like mispriced. So like if we go into that direction, maybe we should look at how that gas is calculated, and see if it's equal or what kind of discrepancy you have between the two.
Okay, sounds good. I can explore that as a follow-up with this CIP. Yeah.
Great.
Any other questions?
We do end up having more questions. The forum again is a good place to ask those, and Manav can help get back to you there. I think that's everything we had scheduled to discuss in the call today. However, I do want to leave the floor open if there's anything we missed or anything we even want to revisit from today's call. Cool. In an effort to save everyone's time, we'll go ahead and meet again in 2 weeks on July 22nd at the same time, 3 p.m. UTC. If you have anything to add to the agenda, like Manav did, please drop a comment on the agenda and we'll get to it during the call. And yeah, thank you everyone for coming. I do want to just leave the floor open in case there's anything I missed for a few more seconds. But otherwise, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.